All right, well, not the start to district play that Piedmont was looking for as they fall to Woodward 28-7, and they are 0-1 on district play, 2-2 on the season. Hi, I'm Ben Felder, news director of the Piedmont Citizen, and joining me as always is the Citizen sports editor, Ben Schuff. And Ben, this was a game that Piedmont seemed to be just a few steps behind, could never get any kind of momentum going, and Woodward eventually pulled away, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, the second half, they pretty much just ran it right down Piedmont's throat. I mean, they come out, opening drive of the second half, 14 plays, all 14 runs. The biggest one went for 11 yards. I mean, like I said, nothing fancy. They just came out. They had over 150 yards rushing in the second half and just totally dominated. I mean, time of possession, obviously, second half too. I think Piedmont had 3 possessions, I want to say, in the second half. So.
Yeah, you know, and this one wasn't pretty for Piedmont. They were pretty fortunate to be down 7-0 at the half, only down 7-0. 3 turnovers, a lot of penalties. Let's talk about the offense. Brett Adams, after having 2 pretty stellar games, came in this one, faced a little adversity. I think his first 3 interceptions of his career now. A couple of more tips, but they were still turnovers just the same, and it was a night that the offense just really couldn't get any kind of rhythm going. Yeah,
the interceptions, 2 of them came off of tip balls.
Yeah.
You can't really blame a kid for that.
Yeah.
The second one that Adams threw, I think, if I remember correctly, was into double coverage. Maybe that's probably a decision that I wish he had back to remake. But the 2 off the tip balls killed him. Also, 2 of those interceptions came in the red zone. That's obviously a huge killer when you drive 40, 50 yards, get into the red zone. Not only do you not come away with points, but you end up giving give the team the ball. So that was obviously a big factor in tonight's loss as well for Piedmont.
Yeah, the defense was really what was keeping them in the game, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
Woodward did not score off of any of those turnovers. It was a botched punt or snap that Woodward got good field position and punched it into the end zone in the first half.
Yeah.
But the defense for Piedmont responded. They picked the offense up and made this a 7-0 game going into half. But Woodward was just maybe had just a little bit more energy than Piedmont in the second half and was able to take over.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Coach Church and the coaching staff, you have to be pleased overall with the defensive play. No huge plays for Woodward tonight. Like you said, the first touchdown came after a botched snap on a punt. Piedmont goes 3 and out. They have to punt the ball in the first quarter. Snap goes over the punter's head. Woodward gets the ball at the 7-yard line. They score a touchdown. After that, Piedmont has the 3 interceptions. Piedmont's defense doesn't give up any points. That was huge. And Coach Church said he felt like they were in a pretty good spot going into halftime. You turn the ball over 3 times, you're only down a touchdown.
Yeah.
Second half, like I said, Woodward just pretty much wore him down with the running game. Over 150 yards rushing in the second half. Just continual 3, 4, 5-yard gains at a time was just too much for Piedmont to handle.
Yeah, the turnovers were killers, the penalties were killers.
Yeah.
A lot of penalties in this game. And was this just a sign of a young football team out there? I mean, we really haven't we've seen some penalties this year, but not to this extent.
I mean, it could be. There's a number of false starts. There's a couple of face mask penalties. I think the biggest thing, when you look at the offense, some of the holding penalties wiped out. There was 2 plays in particular that I can remember. Darius Burris had, I think it was about a 13-yard run called back due to a holding penalty. And then there's another play, I think it was a catch by Christian Foster, went for a first down, I remember. That was also called back. I mean, those are huge killers when you're moving the football down the field and then you have a holding or whatever penalty that negates your gain and then moves you backwards.
Yeah, it never really felt like Woodward was maybe 3 touchdowns better than Piedmont, and it seemed like a team that if Piedmont faced 10 times, maybe they win maybe 5 of those, maybe 4. I mean, it seemed like this was a team that was beatable. Just maybe a lot of breaks didn't go their way. They start 0-1 on district play. I mean, what does Piedmont now need to do? I mean, still a lot of season left here, but they got to start turning it on here, especially if they're going to meet their goal of getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned if Piedmont plays Woodward 10 times, maybe Piedmont wins 5 of them. I don't think Piedmont got outplayed tonight.
Yeah.
Woodward had a big offensive line. They just kind of wore down maybe a little undersized Piedmont's defensive line.
Yeah.
The 3 turnovers obviously hurt them. But like I said, 2 of those came on tip balls. Church seemed, overall pleased with how Brett played tonight. They didn't, like I said, the defense didn't give up any huge plays. I mean, it was just continual beating, smash mouth football, 4 or 5 yards. So if you're Piedmont, I mean, obviously it hurts to lose, especially on homecoming.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any need for Piedmont to hang your head. I think, if you look ahead next week, I think they play Cash next week. You just forget about this one.
Yeah, and this is a game I think you look at the film and you can easily argue that, hey, a couple of breaks, a couple of tips go our way. Maybe this is a ball game for us. We've seen 4 games from Piedmont now. We've seen 4 very different games, a blowout, a come-from-behind win, a blowout on the other side for Piedmont, and then a game where the team was just a step ahead all night. Well, Piedmont will try to bounce back next week. For the Piedmont Citizen and PiedmontDaily.com with Ben Schuff, I'm Ben Felder. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you again next Friday.